Hi. I literally woke up like this. This is how I looked when I woke up, but I put a t-shirt on. I need to brush my hair and do these things. Okay, I know that. I'm a refugee in my own country. I'm a hostage, being kept from a myriad of people and so on and so forth to get out of this situation. I'm being intentionally suppressed and put into this, oppressed and held as a hostage. All right, so this is why I don't look so great on these videos. All right, I probably won't until I finally get out of this situation. So I had a really eye-opening experience. I wasn't supposed to even speak on this until I put it into the right context and I prepositioned it with this statement. So I'm going to open it with the proper prepositioning. And this is the statement, and it's kind of the thesis here, the hypothesis, the thesis. Yeah, thesis. Excuse me. I'm not going to try to pretend I'm an English lit major. All right. This female is over that way, actually not straight above, but above the kitchen room, is a jihadist gang member. Okay. Al-Qaeda's not quite as lenient as the far right is with their KKK members. And this has been on my account. You kind of have an idea of what I mean. Al-Qaeda will kill anyone that they see or deem as a risk to themselves. All right? Period. Small or great. The fact that she's still alive and she's bona fide Al-Qaeda. I seen her like a movie. She talks to this one Arab woman who wears colored hijabs, but she's a radicalized Islamist. The women network with one another. So this one that she's in communication with, or was a few days ago, you can't really tell by the black attire. Like I used to see in New York quite often. You see in London, it's more common in the bigger cities to see the real Islamist. She is more of a DC blending in, where she wears the colored scarving on her head, okay? But she's an Islamist in a major cell thing going on here in the DC metro area. This woman communicates with other Al-Qaeda Islamist jihadist females. She's, to them, to the United States military that's still in control, to our allied forces that are still in control. Believe it or not, yes. It's just been broken, the U.S. military. That's why they need help. It doesn't mean that they're out of control and overthrown whatsoever. To all these, to the federal police, FBI, again, FBI is broken in half. That's thousands and thousands of FBI agents that are not traitors to their country. Okay? To these agencies who are still loyal to the U.S., this female above me is a bona fide Al-Qaeda terrorist. She got herself so immersed and enmeshed and involved with them since she moved in here. Okay, I'm not supposed to talk about her again. It's the same as this other guy. When they're official and it's on the books, I gotta not speak of these folks, okay? It doesn't help the greater cause. But I can, if I prepositioned it, which I did with that statement, that she's an Al-Qaeda member, and I'm gonna finish the preposition here because this is the thesis. The fact that she's still alive speaks loudly. It won't be much longer before Al-Qaeda kills this chick. Al-Qaeda will not and does not let their terrorists or their supporters, anybody who knows anything, run wild. The United States far right did that, and it was a big mistake. Russian white terrorist cells and so forth are a little bit more lenient, but not as much. Everybody knows this. They're right under Al-Qaeda with assassinating people and stuff. Okay? So there's drugs that fill this house still. I cannot and will not, for counterterrorism reasons, legal. A lot of it falls into the legal world. They have to be arrested, apprehended, so on and so forth. I will not talk about her. It's not going to help if I am tweeting away about her. But I can't speak on this if I open it with the fact that she is still alive. This woman will not live through this. She will not live through this if she chooses to remain and stay in this house. I don't believe if she were to vacate premise that she would still live through this. Al-Qaeda always kills their own members. All right? It's part of the structure. The radicalization to be this honored and remembered and loyal and amazing jihadist. They all strive to be that. When one fails to the call, one fails to the duty like this, they kill them. It's a crime against their whole jihadist cause. She's becoming an insult to them. They won't tell her, no, because they're going to kill her. She's been smoking drugs in the house every day, bringing them in. Not as much. Her behavior has changed a lot because she's a terrorist. Okay? And she knows she's being surveyed. She's under surveillance. All right. She's still doing the same thing. My guidance was she's planning on actually turning prostitution tricks from the house without that jihadist cell she's working with. So these things, that's just a couple things I know that I have now publicized, are why she will be killed. She's not going to live through this. She's a jihadist gang member. She's not quite an Al-Qaeda member. It even permeates her being shot all that much more, okay? It's done. I guarantee you this. It's the sad truth of what's going on in our nation with the jihadist gangs, and you can go ahead and look at the Washington, D.C. shootings and the crime stats and verify that. So, my instinct, my gut, my guidance was go tell Russ now that you have had enough of the drugs filling up the house, filling up your bathroom, filling up the hallway, all over the house, all right? I've had enough. And he went up and knocked on her door. I'm going to do a brief of all this. What she did was deny that everybody was smelling drugs, deny that she had drugs in her room after she had admitted that she had weed. She said, I have weed. I didn't record the conversation. She said, I have weed. Then she said, I can't burn weed or candles. I'm just doing a real bulletin point. Then she said, I don't do drugs. And we got into this crazy conversation about how no one's smelling the drugs and she doesn't do drugs after she just said there was weed in her room. Then she told me, I can't talk to her like that. Because I told her, yes, you are doing drugs. Everybody smells the drugs. I was downstairs. I was giving Russ support downstairs and safety because she's dangerous. She brought up the candles to scare Russ. She's threatening to burn the house up. Threatening him. That's all they do. The candles, if you would have been there to witness the conversation, was very abstract. She was trying to scare the landlord. So what I learned from this is this, and my guidance is this too. The jihadist gang members such as her and on up the ranks, when they're taken into custody, never talk. They're just like she was. They're just as disrespectful to generals and colonels and FBI sergeants as she was to me, because she knows I'm CI fucking A. She knows that. They all know that. Everybody knows that. All right? I was guided, don't take it personally. That's how they all are, and they never talk. And they're that disrespectful to all the high rankers when they're being interrogated. That's them. They won't talk. So it's difficult. The best way to get information out of these cells is to survey them. All right. So she tells me, I'm not smelling the drugs. There are no drugs. After she told the landlord there was drugs. She didn't know I was down there when she told him that. Then she tells me I can't talk to her like that. A gang fucking jihadist member. I learned from that. That's how they all are. All the way to the cell where they don't come out. They stay that way. And they only radicalize more while they're locked up. And they radicalize others. All right? Because of why the whole prison, radicalization, drug, terrorist cell sucked in all these black and minority youth in our country, on and on and on, the whole premise, the whole point, the whole crux, the whole reason, sole reason, was for a government overthrow. It was all tentacles and breaches and branches of a ground force. All right? It's been years since this stuff got blown up. Like, rhetoric, what's the word? I'm not literal, all right? For all the DHS actual KKK members, you're not DHS. Look, I'm not blowing anything up. Let me just state that plain as day. I'm speaking figuratively. That's the word. I started blowing this shit up beyond control in 2017. 16 hours a day. It hasn't stopped. It's completely demolished them. But the reason why these folks are in so much defiance and power and all that, she won't last long. No, Al-Qaeda doesn't have any leniency like the white counterparts of theirs do with their members. Al-Qaeda has none. Nowhere on the planet do they have any of that. Nowhere on the planet. It's because they were planning on overthrowing our country. So they set up all this disarray, violence, confusion, cells of every sort, on every level, all over our country. To ideally, their hope was to work with each other and just wipe us out after 1 week. Look, it's not going to happen. But what we have is cities like Chicago, Washington, D.C. It's been on my account so much it gets old. All right? With out-of-control jihadist gangs. All right? So this will be, oh, I'm sure, unless it's like, a surprise, a big surprise. The last time you ever hear me talk or say anything about the Al-Qaeda female upstairs, she's bona fide. And that's why. She's under surveillance. And she's not going to live through this. Al-Qaeda doesn't play. So I'm going to do what I did with my guidance was tell the landlord, because this shit is bullshit. This trick hooker needs to stop filling the house up with drugs. I do have a right, if she wants to play games and tell me I can't talk to her like that, but that's how they all are to the fucking huge sergeants and feds and stuff. They're all like that. The little jihadist members to the big Al-Qaeda members. You won't get anything fucking out of them, and they're so fucking rude to the fucking cops. Yeah, I just learned from that. That's them. They're that way. I just learned from that. They're all that way. Even the big Al-Qaeda fish. They hate us. So, but you won't hear anything out of me because, for one, this chick is not going to live through this. No, she's not going to survive this. Al-Qaeda will kill her. Okay, some things are just facts in this planet. Whatever world you're in, denial world. So many people live in denial. That's honestly your downfall. The reality is, Al-Qaeda members like her did not live through these things. That's the reality. Also, she's under surveillance, so I'm not going to be speaking about this chick again, okay? Unless it's a surprise and I'm supposed to. All right, God bless America. Say goodbye.